So hey guys, welcome to another episode of Paul's Asian Adventure. I kind of wanted to talk about my journey when I was in Duma, the choices I made, what my plan is for the future. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately, of course, I'm thinking about retirement, as you know, and thinking about where I want to live in the world. My priorities are somewhat different now than they were a year ago, 2 years ago. At the time, I wasn't married. I hadn't decided to spend the rest of my life with one specific girl. And now I am married, and I've decided to spend the rest of my life with the girl I'm married to, Mia, who has her own channel, as you know. And with that, I have different types of options. There are different types of priorities for me. We have also decided to start a family, have kids. I've never had my own kids, so this is something we look forward to if we are able to. Who knows? Anyway, so my priorities are somewhat different. And looking at the place that I felt most at home in the Philippines was Dumaguete, Valencia area. I really loved that area. But looking back, there are certain things that are not conducive of me living there, even if I was single. One of the things that is happening more and more is traffic. It has become very polluted in the Dumaguete, Valencia area. When I drive from, let's say, Bacong into the boardwalk to Why Not, which is maybe from where I used to live to there, maybe, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes drive. And basically, if I drove from there and home, I'd get home and Mia would take one of those cotton buds with alcohol and wipe my skin, and it would be black. I always thought that stuff is getting into my lungs. So I used to wear actually a little mask with a charcoal filter or a filter, general filter to reduce the particles going into my lungs. So that I'm very health conscious. And I don't think living in Dumaguete is good for your health in the long term with all that pollution. The other thing that once you've lived there for a while and you walk certain places, you'll see a lot of rubbish everywhere. And that is also something that I could live with. I could see past it, but it kind of irritated me more and more in the end. And you know, to me, the Philippines is such a beautiful country. And when you go walking in the forest or the jungle in there, or you go down to the beach and you see plastic floating in the water, it does something. I don't know. It just like really irritates me. And I made another video with talking about acceptance. Once you live in the Philippines, you have to have some type of acceptance. And I did, but I think that's one of the reasons many foreigners end up leaving. I think after a while, maybe 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, they just kind of, they've had their fill, and lack of other words, and they decide to go to a country that is more organized, is cleaner, less pollution, where the food you buy you can be more secure about. So those are the things that makes me not want to live in Dumaguete. I still kind of want to live in the Philippines because I love the people. I have to say that. It's a country of smiles. I know they call Thailand the country of smiles, but they should have called Philippines that. And it is a country where people are really nice. You know, they'll give you the shirt off their back even though they're poor. And I feel very, very safe when I'm in the Philippines, much safer than when I lived in the U.S. Actually, when I lived in the U.S., I had a carry and conceal, and I'd carry all the time, especially when I was in Houston, because I never felt safe. And in the Philippines, I never felt that way. I always felt safe. Even walking in poor neighborhoods, people would smile and wave, and children would come up to you. And it was like, I don't know, I can't like really explain it. It's like one big family, and everybody's happy. It's just amazing to see people with so little and yet so much happiness. That's the part that I love about the Philippines, and it makes me want to live there. There are certain things that I love about Valencia Dumaguete. Don't get me wrong. I love the social life. I love that there's a lot of foreigners, but also I don't like that there's a lot of foreigners because that pushes the prices up. also that there's a lot of foreigners makes it more restaurants, better malls, and so on, and better food in general, and that you can get different types of foods that you can't get in a remote place in the Philippines. And also it's very close to Cebu. You can take the night ferry, which leaves about midnight and arrives about 6:37 in the morning. So you get off, you go shopping, and you can take the night ferry right back. Goes at 7 p.m. I think that when it goes back to Dumaguete. So it's nice that way. But there are other options. I've looked into maybe Bohol. I have a good friend that lives there. Actually, a childhood friend that lives there. So I've looked into that. I've looked into Davao. I have had a friend who lives there. Multiple people that have lived there that have said very good things about it. It's very clean. People are nice. The crime is very low. Duterte was the mayor, so you can imagine how it was there. Also, another one I started looking at is Iloilo. I've been seeing a lot of good stuff about it. So there are multiple areas in the Philippines that I'm considering, but myself and Mia are also considering other places in the world, such as Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, which we intend to visit. I lived in Mexico, Guanajuato, for 2-3 months, and I really enjoyed it, but I never felt unsafe there, but Mexico in general I would consider it more unsafe than the Philippines. But the good thing with living in Mexico, you're close to the U.S. To get, whatever you need from the U.S., you can go there pretty quick. Now, I don't have family in the U.S., but I'm getting towards that age where I can get benefits I'm getting to the age where I can get health benefits. When you're 62 in the U.S., you get the health benefits, or is it 59? I don't even remember. But I'm getting to that age. I might not look it, but I am getting to that age. And so being close to the U.S. might be a plus. But I also love Europe. I was raised in Norway for many years, and I've lived in Spain. And Europe has a lot to offer. Its food is very clean. The environment is very clean. Fantastic infrastructure, low cost of living in many areas. So we've talked about that, myself and Mia. However, to me, Europe is westernized just as the US, and I don't know if I want to live there full time. So those are the kind of options I'm looking at. And I think if you are looking at the Philippines, if you're single, for sure the Philippines is the best option. But one thing you could do if you're looking for a serious relationship, and once you find that person you like and you want that serious relationship, you can go live other places like Malaysia, Vietnam, or Thailand, which, the older you get, healthcare is more and more important. And the healthcare in the Philippines in general is very poor compared to other countries, except maybe for BJC has very good hospitals. So if you want good healthcare in the Philippines, you can go to BGC, that's in Manila. It's a big town. Manila is a big city, and I guess it's a part of Manila. And if you want to live that life with the hustle and bustle of such a place, far away from nature and so on, to me, I want to live close to nature. I want to live somewhere where I feel at peace, where I can have a garden, where I can grow my own food. That's kind of stuff I like. And so it really depends what you want. But if you want to live a bit outside, on the outskirts, and you are getting to that age where healthcare can be an issue, I would maybe go to the Philippines for 2-3 years, 4 years, 5 years, find that person that you really like, and then think about moving to somewhere else, such as Thailand or Malaysia or Vietnam or other places, Europe maybe. So another thing that you have to consider if you're going to live in Dumaguete, Valencia, is the cost. The cost of living there has risen substantially, and that's because a lot of foreigners have moved there because of vloggers. And it's actually almost as high, if not higher, living costs there than living in Cebu. And Mia tells me that there's been a lot of complaints on Facebook that the cost of living in Dumaguete, which is a province, is more than Cebu. And the reason the prices go up is because foreigners come there, and foreigners are willing to pay more, so the prices keep going up. So that's another consideration, especially if you're on a tight budget, to consider other places. But as I said, there are benefits of living there. But the one thing I did notice when I was in Dumaguete last time was that there's more and more cars because there's more and more foreigners, and there's more and more Filipinos with money buying cars. And to be honest, Dumaguete, Valencia was never designed for cars. It was designed for scooters, motorbikes, and bicycles. I mean, there's one lane. The main highway has 2 lanes. So I mean, it's just not designed that way. So it's a lot of traffic. You have yearly tests of vehicles for pollution and all that, but I don't think they're that strict, because I see some of these big trucks that carry sugar cane. I mean, bellowing smog out, and it's just really bad. So being stuck in traffic behind one of these trucks, behind the buses, behind old cars, it just destroys your lungs. So if you're concerned about your health, if you're into health and you want to live in a healthy place, I would think twice about Dumaguete. The cost, the pollution, the traffic, and more rubbish. It just doesn't seem like a place where they've thought it through. How do we handle the expansion that is coming? It seems like they're just trying to get by with what they have. And it's a pity, because looking at Dumaguete videos from 10 years ago, from people who lived there 10 years ago, I looked at like the boardwalk and the main highway. There was very, very little traffic. And now it's just bumper to bumper. So the other issue you got to consider, of course, is safety for where you live. However, like I said in the early video, I felt safe wherever I've been in the Philippines. People in general are really nice, helpful. And of course, there are bad areas that you have to be aware of if you're in Manila or Cebu City. But in general, the Philippines, to me, seems like a very safe place. When I watch Dumaguete, the people that get in trouble, there are Filipinos that some of them get shot because they get involved in politics or business. And then there are some foreigners that have been in fights and shot by other foreigners and stuff like that. So, but that's mostly, stuff that goes on at bars, and, people have grudges and all that. So keep out of that. Not an issue. In general, I feel the Philippines is very safe. That's how I feel. I don't have really any statistics to back that up. The Philippines in general is not a good place. It's not good at keeping statistics. I haven't been able to find any reliable statistics. Maybe you guys can. So safety-wise, I think Philippines is fine. But of course, if you live in a big city, just be aware of the areas. Map out the areas that are unsafe. Ask the locals there which areas are safe and which are not safe. There are other cities that, like I mentioned earlier, and there's probably more cities that I don't know of. And if any of you have lived in some cities in the Philippines and want to come on to my show and talk about different areas you've lived in, or maybe you've lived in many different areas, and talk about your experiences there, I'd love to have you on my show. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up and hope to see you on the next one. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and help my channel grow. So I'll see you soon.